Hey, nerds and nature lovers. Welcome to Just Us, the Couple of Nerds podcast, where we chat all things nerdy life and love and a little bit of adventure.
Right, today we're swapping out those dice for hiking boots and taking you with us to Dragoon Gulch. God, that word is tough. In Sonora, California, where the trails were twisty and the views were epic and the wildlife, well, to say the least, was a little too active.
We're talking getting lost on the way, reaching the summit, and even mistaking squirrels for monsters. So buckle up and hit the trail with us.
So we, as a younger married couple celebrating over 8 years of marriage, we find that you gotta kind of every now and then get out, and especially as if you followed us for long, we are apartment dwellers, as most of people of our age in this economy,
self-proclaimed inside introverts.
But every now and then we like to get out. We there's one thing I think we've spoken on many a times in our audio podcast is our love for like car travel and going on trips.
Road trips are the best. You
Right.
can get lost, have a great time, listen to some good music on the way.
Or not at all, because sometimes we'll get so entranced in just like conversation that like we don't even have an opportunity to like listen to anything. You'll make a playlist and we'll never even get an opportunity to actually do it.
But that's the fun of it, right? Because you can choose. You can choose to fill it up with music, conversation, or you can even just sit there and enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always like that thing, right? Like car rides are like that sacred thing, right? Like you can go on them, you're in the car. I mean, this is why most people like pick their nose in the car. You're
It's your
safe.
private moments.
You're safe and protected, right? Like you don't have to worry about it. I mean, there's windows everywhere, but for us, it was always been, I mean, not to say that car rides are always good. Like in our earlier days, we had to separate. You were still in college. I lived a little further away. And the radio was the most mean, horrible thing we've ever had happen to us.
That was the worst.
Where the radio was playing nothing but sad
Turned
breakup
it off
songs.
at some point.
Right. But you really get that opportunity to kind of talk, discuss, learn a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Any topic can come up. It's a really good way to get to know your partner a little better, or whoever it is you're traveling with, because it's not always your partner.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I've had
friends, family.
I've had plenty of like car rides with like buds and going on trips or whatnot. And like the car ride is just essential, But as always with every essential car ride, like we're bad at this sometimes. And you would think like having gone to the same place more than
at least once,
we would know it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what it was with my phone this time around, but we ended up taking like a good 20-minute circle lap as we went basically back around.
Oh, it was fun.
Without realizing it, and it's hard not to get frustrated when I think we were going, and it wasn't until like I think 20-30 minutes into the drive that I was like, okay, I know we're going the wrong place.
Yeah,
like,
this
we're
doesn't
in
feel
a
right.
town that I know, and I know is in the opposite direction of where we're supposed to go. So then it was like, okay, I know this is wrong. We need to look at the map.
Like,
and the
get something going.
thing was my stupid ass phone was like glitching out for whatever.
Yeah.
And it was delayed.
It wasn't moving for some, like it showed still like an active map, but our cursor wasn't moving at all.
Yeah, and like for us, we're very big into, and if you've never seen this before, go into your travel app, whatever it is, I think iTunes or whatever, iPhone or whatever, and take off highways, right? Like we don't really travel highways. No, we go off the beaten path. It causes problems sometimes because obviously you're going to add some more time. But because of that, we do kind of find ourselves getting lost a little more because we're obviously not taking well-traveled roads or the clearly marked highways.
Yeah. But frankly, some of these getting lost moments have been really nice. We found some really cozy places, some really fun areas that we wouldn't have seen if we hadn't taken the long route around.
Yeah, and I mean, we're also like / sort of doomsday preppers when it comes to traveling. So like we're always got food and drink and supply, and so
well prepared.
We always wanted to make sure. So like even if stuff happens, like even if we say got stranded on the side of the road, we'd probably be still pretty good overall in terms of not needing anything to protect us or sustain us.
Right. We try to be as prepared as possible for anything that might go wrong.
Yeah, except for there's nothing like being prepared and then forgetting stuff. Like when we went on our hike and we like literally went to the gas station to buy water bottles that were ridiculously overpriced.
Yep.
And then we totally forgot them for the whole hike.
Yep. Didn't even bring them.
We're smart. But I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, you know. It's like we try not to take it serious. Oh God, I'm like 16 again with that voice. We try not to take it too seriously, right? Like, because it is like half the time us getting lost is more fun.
It's part of the journey.
I mean, when we originally first found this place up in Sonora, we actually were trying to go to a train museum that we ended up finding out cost money, and we're broke, so we try to do all the free stuff, and was super packed, and we're introverts. We don't want that.
We don't want hella big crowds.
And so we ended up finding it, and I don't know if any of you, you know, this is the gaming tie-in. I happen to love Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
And so when we found something called Dragoon Gulch, I was just like, okay, we have to go there. And it was freaking awesome when we first went. A little strange. Definitely a little strange.
Yeah.
Because this is, if you're from the area, Sonora is this little tiny foothills town, kind of really, really literally just
Tucked
like
in.
pasted into the side of like the foothills. It's tucked in. You can't see it, half of it, unless you're right on top of it, right? And so this little like trail is like weirdly divided, as when we first went there, the like official parking lot is like way far away from where the actual trail even starts.
Yeah, the trail to get to the real trail is a walk through a residential area.
And it's like an old folks senior facility. So it's like you're walking up these hills. One, it's embarrassing because these old folks are smoking you because they're just like, they're used to it. And
they're good.
You're gassed just getting to the trail. But it is kind of this awkward thing is you're like, you know, you're like, yeah, we're tourists and we're here to walk a trail. And we're like walking through this church and this daycare center. I think we went by a preschool.
People's backyards sometimes.
Right.
It was
and so
weird.
we discovered, though, after doing the hike, that there was this, what looked to be this like parking lot, very small.
Yeah.
But it was like right there on the path, like right in the perfect spot. And we had like kind of sussed it out last time because we didn't know
how to
know
get
if it was private. That was the biggest thing. It's like, is this a private road? But then when we looked it up, it was the ADA access all person parking, right? So when we came this time, we got to park there and have a little trunk picnic and we got to see an emo kid on vacation, which is always fun, as she was just very angrily sitting in the car by herself as her family went on a nice hike, which is always entertaining. She was so mad. But, you know, it was nice because when we got there, instead of having this, like, awkward hike through these people's homes, we just got to go straight to the hike.
Yeah, it was so nice. We had our little sandwich, got ourselves all sunscreened out.
Cheap shopping at Costco, y'all. Pre-made meals and sandwiches. Definitely saves
so
the
nice.
day.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have to do any work for this hike except the actual hike itself.
Yeah, right. And, like, the first time we came here, we really didn't intend to go for a hike, right? We were going to go to a train museum. So this time we were ready. We had our hiking shoes on.
Good. Yeah.
We brought bottles of water. We didn't take them with us to the hike, but we brought them.
Hike.
We brought them, though. They were there.
They were there.
And we wanted to do the summit walk this time. And it was the little, because last time we thought we were doing it, and we were so lost that we inadvertently took the right trail to the wrong trail to then take the other wrong trail.
Yeah.
Is what it ended up being.
And
really so weird. We kind of promised ourselves, you know, hey, we're going to make it to the summit.
We're going to follow the maps because we couldn't even read the maps last time. We were so new at this.
Yeah, it was bad. and then and I just remember, you know, we were looking at it and it's like they have 4 distinct trails. They kind of give you the descriptions of how bad they are. You know, so that's kind of why we avoided the summit because, you know, when you see 14% slope, it's like, well, it's only 14. I mean, there's still 14%. Like 74 more or 84 more if I can do my math. You know, but damn, like, I'm not the most in shape. You know, us nerds, we don't have the greatest of, like, you know, calf strength unless you're a DDR.
We like our junk food.
Unless you play DDR.
Yeah.
But yeah, that got a little tough after a while.
A little bit. I was a little winded, and I've been trying to get a little better in shape, and even I was like...
There was a few times where I'm just like, you still back there?
Yeah.
We're going.
You keeping up? I'm like, I'm like coming.
The things that's like butternuts to me is like these guys that are on cycles, like they're motorcycling. Jesus Christ. They're on cycles, right? They're on bicycles, and they're just ripping down these things. And me, I'm like, oh, wrong turn. You're dead. No one knows where you are. You don't exist no more.
That was definitely my thought too. We saw one guy a little older, just jamming up and down this trail, taking all sorts of rides, and I was just like, how is he doing this? I would be terrified that like I wouldn't stop or turn one wrong way.
He was a cheater though, because when he came back around again, we could hear the motor in his bike.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, wait a minute,
a little more control,
getting a little more assist on there than just like riding the Tiger yourself.
He was a little older. I'll give him I'll give it to him.
No hate. Just like, wait a minute. Not as impressed.
True, right?
But I mean, what I love about it is like where we live is, in the state of California, you can be anywhere, right? And so it's so cool because especially when you're like fantasy players or if you're gamers, it almost sometimes feels like you're being transported into a different area. And one of the reasons we love this place is because, man, it is so surreal in terms of its like flora and fauna that's around. I mean, you got spooked by squirrels thinking they're like creatures because of just how much the trees are just gnarled in unique ways.
It is so cool. They look striped almost. They have this like really beautiful glossy red bark. It's like a deep maroon red, and then I think there maybe were like controlled fires or controlled burns in the area or something, because they have like this ash gray striping along some of the branches.
Unique tree. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's such a unique tree because it totally looks foreign as hell.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's from this planet, seriously. So I was like, this is what the trees of Extraeus look like. This is what, and also the soil, the red clay that is in the area. I was like, this is what the soil of Extraeus looks like too.
Right.
And it's just really beautiful to kind of get all of that inspiration just from a hike.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing too. Like I always tell you, sometimes it's like, all right, we need to go out. Like I get this tickle where I'm just like, oh, I need to get outside. Like I just can't be indoors any longer.
Yeah.
The introvert in me is like can only handle
need
so
to breathe
much.
a little bit, yeah.
And I think it's just so nice because it was like really like the moment we got out there, it was just that feeling of like, okay, we're back out in the wilderness. If you're stuck in the city, I recommend every now and then just try to get out. That's what we try to do, and we feel like it really does help kind of shake off a little of the city blues. Especially for our fellow apartment dwellers. It's so tough being in such small areas, especially if we don't have a backyard or anything. So why not go out and find those hiking areas and have those picnics? Because one, it's cheap.
Yep.
Which is always good.
Yeah.
And two, it can be, a real good way to get out and see some of the unique places around you. And like I said, we found this by accident.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it was so nice to actually get to the top, right? Because last time we didn't make it to the top.
Yeah, we knew at that point, because we weren't prepared for that. So
no,
it was
we
like,
weren't.
I remember we got to like where it was like, oh, it's like another,
halfway.
It's like another 0.9 miles, but it was like the uphill journey. And it's like, I'm going to go. I was like, I don't know if I have enough energy to get back.
Yeah, and we saw that point where that 0.9 miles started when we actually did it this time around, and it's a steep 0.9 miles.
It'd be rough. And so I was just like, okay, it's good that we went this way then. But it was that kind of like that sense of, satisfaction because we've been able to come back and do something. And that's like the biggest thing, because we didn't set like some giant goal. We ain't trying to like hike Everest or
not
go
trying to make 2K,
do half
K2
dome,
over here.
half dome at Yosemite or something. We're very new to this, but it's just more of setting those little like attainable goals. And that's always been a focus for us. Like if you've been watching this podcast or, listening to it since we've just now switched to video, we've always been trying to make those little small changes in ourselves because it's more attainable. Like we can try, you can try doing the big things, but really, I mean, who looks at a video game and goes, okay, well, I'm gonna get the platinum. Well, you're gonna take a couple of years, maybe months to get the platinum. Yeah. But obviously you can get a few on the way, and that's half the fun of it, right? And so when we got it, it was just so much of like an invigoration to us to kind of have that like sense of triumph. And mind you, if you look this up on the internet, you're probably gonna laugh because it's not the craziest climb or hike, right?
It's not. It's not.
I think it was like less than 3 miles.
Yeah, we're not talking anything,
but
to write
us,
home
like,
about.
Pre-COVID days where we spent most of our time during COVID locked in our house,
just chilling.
It's pretty good for us. It definitely did do
it's a good challenge,
a good
for us.
Solution to our mental and physical health.
And I will say, as a small goal, it's really nice, right? Because it's forgiving too. It's not just, you can celebrate a lot more often when you make these little goals, but it's more forgiving when you fail at the little goals. You don't feel like you've let down this huge thing that you were going for. It's like, oh, it's okay. It's a little hiccup. I can get back up and keep going.
Yeah, no, know, right? And that's kind of the whole experience too, because it was like, you know, when we first go, we're always kind of that way. Like, it's always rough. We kind of test the waters. And then when we come back, it's like, okay, now we're ready. Now we know what we're getting into. Now we can tackle this and we can see what's up. And now, like, we have another plan to do kind of the whole circuit.
Do all of them.
You know, in one go, you know. So that will be really interesting to see how that goes, because that's going to be, you know, the way to go. But it was kind of fun too, because, like, you know, you are kind of a city kid, which is what we laugh about. Where obviously I'm a little bit more in nature with being out in nature.
Urban kid.
I mean, I you know, not too much, but enough to know at least some certain things about being out in the open and stuff. And I know your first worry was that the forest was on fire for a moment.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was one of the crazy stories from this trip that we had. You know, at first it was smoke. We saw smoke on the horizon. It was on the other ridge.
It was pretty far, but like it was loud enough that we could hear like the crackling of the wood. That's what kind of was like. I think it's what you heard first. Because when you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's not really noise. It was like every now and then a plane or something. But other than that, it was quiet.
It was like crickets and the small little birds and stuff like that. But you're not hearing big noises. So to hear the giant crackling and the smoke, I was like, oh my God. Should we call someone? Should we get emergency services out here?
You were getting ready. And
I was panicking a little bit.
I know. I had to kind of, you know, where it's like, all right, you know, you kind of assess where it's at. Like, obviously, in this region, we've been having a lot of rain, so it's super green everywhere around you.
But hey, I'm originally from LA, and we just had like a huge disaster. So we want to be careful.
I mean, if you don't know that it's like common for them to like burn brush and overgrowth and stuff like that, and it's all done controlled. And you know, I think it was at first. I think it was like the angle you thought like the car that was near it was on fire.
Yeah, because it looked like it might have like run into a tree or something.
Perception's a bitch, because obviously it was more of, it wasn't like that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was the landowner, you know, clearing brush.
and you know that, and that's kind of that thing too, because I, you know, was telling you, it's like, hey, you know, it's been burning for a while. Obviously, this huge column of white smoke. It's like there would have already been someone on top of it at this point.
And you pointed out to me that it was white smoke, not black smoke. So the chances of it being a controlled fire were higher.
Yeah, right. It tends to be that means it's just like straight wood. It's not like chemical and plastic. Like a car burns black. You know, if the car's on fire, like all that crap that's in there.
Yeah.
You know, and it was fun. You know, it wasn't the only encounter. I mean, we had both like, you know, animal life and then also human life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we had all kinds of different interactions. And that's what's kind of fun about the region that is, because there are people that live in the area. But once you get into the trails, you start kind of moving far enough away that you don't really know that you're kind of in a neighborhood.
Yeah, like you can see it, you know, on the other ridges and stuff, the houses, but where you're at, it's really nice and quiet. It's peaceful. And you really only see the other hikers around and the wildlife.
Right. Yeah. And that's like the whole big thing about it. It's like you walk into a few people hiking. I think we ran into some people that brought their kids to like play in the creek that was actually had water in it because of the rains.
That looked clean.
The last time we went, it was like empty.
It was running dry.
And now it was flowing, which was dope. You know, it was kind of cool. And you know, you have the people that are hiking, families. That was kind of the fun thing. You know, it was, you know, as we're eating, like, you know, various people kept parking. We were like directing them to the parking spot
because they were limited.
Like they couldn't see. So it's like, no, there's a spot here. There's a spot here. And everyone would be all psyched as, you know, some people brought their dogs. And that's what's fun about it, where it's like you're far enough away, but at the same time, obviously, if you're fairly new to going out and hiking or the wildlife, you're not too far away if something like an oh shit moment were to happen.
Yeah. There's still civilization around. You can call for help, and people on the other ridge can hear you because we can hear the fire.
If you scream loud enough, someone's going to hear you.
Yeah, right. And it wasn't just interactions with people that we had. It was the fun interactions with the animals around.
The wild beasts.
The crazy beasts.
Of Sonora.
Well, I heard rustling in the trees, and at first I didn't know what it was because city kid here, I don't know that you have to look in front of whatever's the noise is coming from to see what's going. So I was like, what is that? It just turned out to be a squirrel eating berries.
Oh yeah. Or when I'm like pointing out, it's like I was like, oh look, it's an old snake hole, and you're just like, oh, that means is there a snake? It's like, well, no. Like I would say, look, there's a snake,
right?
But you know, that whole idea, you know, movies and television have just ruined people where they think like all these animals are just out to get you.
They're everywhere, and they're evil.
You know, especially in a hiking area, they tend to stay pretty far away unless they're somewhat enticed by food, but all it did was just have moments of fun. You know, it's hard when you're hiking and working out and like trying to exercise and you're laughing, so then it makes it even harder to breathe.
Yeah. And it wasn't just, we didn't just see like scary moments either. I think we saw this really beautiful moment where the hawks were like flying really close to us.
Yeah, that one that like didn't like flap its wings for like 10 minutes because it was just constantly
it glided
riding.
within like 30 feet of us.
And then flew like right over our heads because I got kind of spooked for a second because I was like, oh, it's going after something near us. So that was that was definitely cool. And I mean, that is kind of our like where we try to do that. And I think with the way we like build our homebrew world, this is really the stuff that we kind of get that inspiration from, right?
Absolutely.
Like those moments. And me as a dungeon master, in like those scenes you get are like the ones that I've experienced, and you as a writer kind of writing those those storylines and those kind of narrations.
It really helps, and it doesn't just give you a chance to get all of this inspiration, but it energizes you. It gives you motivation too. Like, I wanted to come home and write about all these things, put what I saw to pen and paper to also draw it out and make it for Extraeus and put it in the world. It kind of gives you that energy to keep going, keep doing more.
Yeah, right. I think we're like naturist introverts, where it's like after a while it's like we just need to get out and see some green and get to a place where there's no one around and have some peace and quiet.
Yeah, we don't hang out with people to get our energy like extroverts. We hang out with trees and plants.
Right, and it is, and that's why we wanted to share. And if if there's locations around that especially if you're from our area or in this region, and you know places in Sonora that have that, please let us know in the comments, because that would be awesome. Because we're always looking for new places, but we're always scared to put our foot in the water. So if someone can kind of vouch for it first, that's definitely an okay for us.
Yeah, that would help. And also, any places in California that are really cool to hike, we'd love to hear from them. We might check them out.
I know we want to go to Calaveras Big Trees as soon. So that will be a cool one to look at, and that'll be a drive out there. That would be really cool.
I love that.
One of these times for another one of our adventures, because we try to get at least one a month. Our next one, we're going to be going to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So that'll be cool, because like we said, when you're in California, you can be in the foothills one day and you can be at the ocean the next, and it's kind of a really nice thing. Minus taxes, political stuff, property, and all the other stuff that goes on, prices, and fires, gas, PG&E, all that kind of good stuff. But the forest and hikes are cool.
They're great.
But for us, it's always kind of that idea, it really helps us. It makes that week and the month go by, both to give us something to look forward to and that like enjoyment of just having that serene mental image.
Yeah, and it's a good time to bond with your partner, your friends, your family,
or just yourself.
Yeah, just have a good.
You can go on a hike by yourself. Do it.
Yeah,
maybe tell someone you're going first, so that way if you disappear, they know where you were. But
share your GPS. But yeah, they can center yourself as well, so that's really nice.
Well, it's about time to hit the dusty trail. But that's pretty much the wrap on our newest Dragoon Gulch adventure. Whether it was us summiting a trail or laughing on our repeated wrong turns, because again, we also messed up on the way home and then had to take a really fat U-turn that wasn't a U-turn. It was a whole. Great. I mean, we got to work better on maps. I miss old paper maps, because then you at least could plan it out. But
draw the line. But if this episode inspired you to hit the trails or just to laugh along with our squirrel saga, be sure to like, review, and share the podcast.
Don't forget to join our Discord and tell us about your own hiking stories or any of your nature-inspired D&D ideas. We'd love to hear them in any crazy fashion.
Until next time, keep wandering, and keep being nerdy together.
Peace.
Bye.